Hi, this is Sergeant Beast Larson. I'm going to talk today about the 7 danger zones of a traffic stop, as well as some considerations for civilians in their car. This is part of the Improving Officer Civilian Survival series. This is part 3. Used to teach this on the Sheriff's Department. Used to do roll call briefing, teach this to the new guys before and remind them of all of this after they get back from the police academy. But this is very important. I looked on the news yesterday morning. In the last 2 days, 4 police officers were killed in traffic stops. It's very sad. I've made many stops. I work interdiction on the interstate. I've been a part of this stopping and stopping my whole career, and teaching. So I'm going to go over these really quick. I'll try and keep this video about 10 or 12 minutes. 7 danger zones. This is a police car. B, this is a violator car. The civilian car over here, I'm going to go back and forth as I do this. Number 1, officers in 2019 are killed in an ambush. Many officers, especially up in New York City area, are ambushed sitting behind the steering wheel. This is our steering wheel. This is the seat. Now, for police to realize this, what's the first rule in a traffic stop? For safety, what should you do? Activate your body camera. You want the camera in your car to go on. Call out your traffic stop on the radio. This gives you 2 forms of recorded pieces of evidence. Should somebody walk on you on the radio, your body camera picks this up. You call out your call sign, whatever it was. When I started police work, my badge was 468. 468 traffic stop. Dispatch says, go ahead. Body camera's on, it's recording this. So is the dispatch, it's being recorded. Call out my traffic stop. Your department has policies, how you do this. Describe your vehicle, your location, etc. Suspects, what officers fail to do, how many suspects are in a car, and anything unusual. There's movement. The front passenger's reaching under the seat. They realize that I'm there. Whatever you see, say it. Because that's going to help explain something later if things go bad, or should there be weapons or drugs or anything else, or bodies in the car. So explain that. Ambush, you're behind the wheel. What do you do when you're behind the wheel of a cruiser? There's not a lot. You drive forward, you can ram them, go around them, hit reverse, get out of the way. Here's something to consider. You've been to the range. Empty your firearm. Put it in your holster. Put your seatbelt on. Sit in the car in a safe position with no bullets in your gun, no bullets in your backup gun. I always carry the backup, the Glock they issued us, the Glock 23. Empty these guns, sit in a car. Which gun are you going to draw if you're behind the wheel of a car? Are you going to draw this one with the seatbelt on? Not a chance. That seatbelt's going to block all this unless you're left-handed. If you're right-handed, you're stuck. As a right-handed officer, reach down and grab your ankle gun to come up if you need to. You need to practice this. At what speed does your seatbelt come off? Unofficially, our rule of thumb was about 30 miles an hour. Under that, don't have a seatbelt on in case you need to slam the brakes on, hit and park, jump out and run, deploy, get out of there, whatever you need to do. So think about your speed. Think about what weapon you're going to draw from behind here. Your choices again, forward, go backwards, or you're going to have to fight in place. Number 1, civilian, in a civilian car right here. What are you going to do? A carjacker comes up. Car's automatically locked nowadays. But the bullet's going to go through the window, and so does that bad guy pointing a gun at you. Give me your car, get out of your car, I want your car. Whatever they're going to say to you. What are your choices? Drive. If you drive, you're going to have to communicate with people in the car. Everybody lay down, hit that gas and go. Don't worry about if you're going to wreck and hit somebody. Car insurance will take care of body damage to your vehicle. You got to worry about you and your family, your parents, your kids, whoever's in there. Worry about that. Are you going to come out and fight? It depends on what the person does. They point a gun right in your face. You don't want to say, hold on, let me roll the window down, open the door, and that kind of thing. This needs to be thought about ahead of time. What choices do you have? But it's the spur of the moment you're going to react. One of the things that'll help with this, we're going to do in a later video, is breathing exercises, self-calming techniques for stress. Think about what you're going to do. If you're a carry conceal person, again, if you're right-handed, can you draw? Get out of the seatbelt. Can you defend yourself in this position? Think what you're going to do. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a short story. Something happened to my wife and I. We were on our way on a shopping trip. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you exit your vehicle. You're right here. This is the door. This is the front door of the police car. You're exiting. You're standing here. Now, remember, you call in your traffic stop before the lights come on. Don't turn your lights on, pull over, they stop, you stop and call it in. You're sitting here to get ambushed. All this gets done before you activate the lights. Because when it's time to turn the lights on, you need to be ready for any kind of action. What do you do when you're here behind the door? Well, you've parked on an angle, as you see from my almost perfectly rectangular iPhone 10 car designs. You've got your engine block, yes. So you can duck and cover from here, or you can retreat to the back of your car and have the engine in the whole car. If your body camera's on and things go wrong, you're talking as this goes. Not cursing, not, oh, blankety blank blank, or I can't believe, but it's, the suspect is this, they're doing this, I see a gun, I see whatever, I hear this. So you're going to duck and cover, number two, or come to the back of the car. Okay, so nothing goes wrong. You come out of this, you come up, here's number three, is right around the front corner of your car. That's a number three. Same thing. You can step back behind the wheel well, drop down, remember our shot avoidance, drop down, make yourself low, work your way to the back of the car. Communicate, call for help, hit your panic button on your police radio. Same kind of thing, you're in the same position. So 2 and 3 is drop, use your engine, your vehicle, and retreat to the back. That's your safe spot. These are 4 doors on the vehicle. Say you're getting out of the car over here, we'll just make this a number 2 as well. Maybe you've loaded your kids in, you're right here ready to get in the car, or you're just exiting the car and you still have kids inside, kids and spouse inside. Maybe it's a van, maybe there's a whole bunch of you. From here, what are you going to do? You're not armed like the police. You can jump back in, slam that thing and drive or reverse and take off. Don't worry if your door's open or shut, it'll shut. You'll grab it in a second. Or if you're a carry conceal person, you may need to draw your sidearm and engage. What if you're in your door pocket right here, if you had a can of mace, I'm going to make a little circle over here too. Glove box, door, depending on if you have little kids, if you can secure it or not, that's something to consider. Can of mace. Okay, this might be small, but I'm going to write trunk down here to get to that here in just a second. So the police ambush, number 1 is ambush. That's very important, so I'm going to write it right here. And remember from the other video, until the threat stops. You're going to react and defend yourself until the threat stops. Okay, so we're talking about this in a civilian car for a second in here. Before this moves up, I want to come back to the civilian car. So you come out of the grocery store, you put some groceries here in your trunk, whether it's hatchback, the trunk opens up, whatever. This is a good place, the circle right here, for a can of mace. What about a tire tool in that? Cars, vehicles have these little secret compartments. They want to hide everything, make it look pretty. Well, maybe you need to have something out that's not hidden, or a screwdriver. You need to have something. Have something you can get to. Some states say that a firearm is not concealed in your civilian car if it's in the trunk. Or the law says if it's not loaded, if the bullets and the gun are in a different place, then it's not illegal. Some say if it's out of arm's reach, it's not legal. Look at your state law, figure this out. We're not going to go through 50 states and what you can do or not do. But think about this. You put the little ones in here. Here's your shopping cart full of groceries, G for grocery. They're all in here. You bring your cart over, you start loading this up. Somebody's over here doing something you don't like. Strangers up looking in your window just like this, looking at your kids. What are you going to do? Well, a good can of mace would spray right here. You can explain, hey, they come up right to my kid. They were reaching for the door handle. I was afraid for my kids. I was in fear. What if you had a can of hairspray? A can of anything within an accelerant that's going to propel it out. Spray in that direction. Get them away from your kids. You got a right to protect your kids. So think about this. What is in your trunk to protect you and your family, the family that's in here? I'm making all these little dots. I want this to be bigger. You know why? Because everybody in here, everybody in your car is important. They are important. Family, not your car. Cars can be fixed and replaced. Family is important. Civilians, you're thinking family. Protect you and your family. Protect, protect, protect. Ambush, this word comes in again. They're going to wait till the kids are in here. Wait till you're vulnerable. Wait till you've got the baby in your hands and you're putting in a car seat. What are you going to do? In later videos, we're going to talk about exercises. Kicking backwards, elbows backwards. If you're holding something right here, how do you defend yourself? Okay, so we're kind of covering this a little bit. If you don't have little kids and you have teenagers, or you're older, kids are grown and gone, it's just you and your spouse, you know, no kids right here, it's just the two of you, then it becomes different. Then you can, in some states, have a firearm in the glove box. This is a glove box right here. Maybe you have a firearm in there. Maybe you have a firearm in your trunk, a firearm over here on your person. Now you're a little bit more protected. Bad guys get scared when the citizens are pulling a gun too, or faster than they are, and a threat. And you just have to be able to explain, they did this, their face looked like this, their shirt was, you know, I'm a killer, or, you know, it's a certain kind of a shirt, it got things that scare you. Between the shirt, their facial expressions, the word they say, if they come up to you and they're going like this, looking in your car window, that's not how you come up and say, hey, how you doing? It's nice to meet you. And then make the ugly face. I'm good at making ugly faces. It's different than walking up and saying, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. See, this posture is non-threatening. This posture is threatening. Remember that, because civilian people are not used to having to think the difference of threatening and non-threatening. Okay, let's go back to the police car. So we got an ambush. We got the door jam, front corner of the car. Number 4, this is space. This is a space between you and your car. Now, you're taught in traffic stops, don't get real close to the bumper, but don't be too far away. This is up to you. It's up to the road, the terrain, how close they park, potholes. There's 97 variables that can affect this. You've got to get from your corner to here, and see, the whole time your eyeballs are right here on this driver. This is a driver and a passenger. I know it's kind of small, but driver and a passenger. Your eyeballs always watching this movement in anybody that they have in a car or van or SUV. Okay, so from here to here, your feet movement need to be quick. Your body posture, you're almost interview stance as you're moving, body slightly bladed. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. Don't stand straight like this. Puff out your chest to walk up there and say, hi, I'm Johnny Police. Look how big I am, because you just made a big, wide bullseye target for them to shoot. No, you're going to turn. You're walking up to the car this way, bladed. Your firearm strong side should be to the rear in case you need to draw like this. It's a marker here. I'm going to write all over. If you're left-handed, you need to tactically go. So you're tactically looking as you come up. As you come up eyeballing this, you also have to watch oncoming traffic right here. Oncoming cars. So you got eyeballs both ways. The hair on your neck needs to be ready to stand up. Your ears, your senses, all your senses come into play. Remember their senses. Remember hearing. You hear brakes and stuff coming. Your first instinct might be to jump to this corner of the car because that's somebody coming to slam in your cruiser. And yes, I've been in a traffic stop. I've been in a car that's been hit. Okay, number 4. And stop for a second there. Sometimes things come back in your life and, you know, they're good and bad memories. This was a bad memory. I had a passenger and the passenger was hurt. So number 4, you're moving from here to here. Obvious, there's one place to go. Number 1 choice is to go and get behind their car. Yes, they can reverse it, but at least you come over here, you're out of the way of them shooting back. Come over here and drop low. From here, you can retreat to your car. Okay? If you're walking forwards, it's harder to stop and react and turn and run all the way around than it is to go this way and come down. So in between cars, your safe spot is to get behind here and retreat if you have to. Body cameras on, remember, you're talking. You know, say it. I'm approaching your car. I came around the corner of my car. It doesn't, you say all this stuff, it's professional. You're talking to yourself. You're allowed to talk yourself through a checklist. So they play it in court. Nobody's going to fault you for saying, okay, I'm out of the corner. I'm out of here. I'm in the door jam. Not in the ambush position. I'm not up here in number 3 anymore. This is number 4. I'm in between. You're allowed to say that. Number 5 is right back here at the corner of the car. You get back to the corner of the car. Now you have an option, you know, again, go this way and retreat. Or drop down low. You don't want to drop down in advance. You don't want to go. But if you watch some videos, one of the best videos of officer in a shooting, it's best because the officer wasn't hurt and survived the shooting, did an excellent job with the Texas Highway Patrol back in the 80s. He got up here position number 5. They come out and started shooting. He was just a couple inches past this bumper, couldn't go back here. He came straight over here, but as he did, he ducked his body, spun around as he's drawing his gun. So he didn't do a complete shot avoidance to the ground. He went halfway. But in halfway, see the difference of my head on this poster. Okay, here, this is arm reach. See my arm reach is middle of the poster. He ducked, so his head was below this. So as the suspect shot, it shot right over his head. Of course, his cowboy hat fell off. He retrieved it though, and was healthy and looked good when it was done. You know, and then that was important because he let them know they didn't rattle his cage. They didn't kill him. They didn't hurt him. They didn't shake him up. Put his hat back on him, and he was still that. I just started my shift professional look. And his demeanor, his representation of law enforcement was very professional. And he did talk. He did talk on his body camera, and you hear all this. And he didn't swear. He wasn't saying bad stuff. He didn't call him any names. He just said, dispatch, shots fired, this and this and that. Explained the details of it. Very professional. Okay, so this is number 5. You're right up here in this corner. You've got your choices and options. Okay, what are police taught to do when they get to the suspect car? Put your hand on the car. Why? First obvious reason is fingerprints. I'm also going to tell you something. When I walked around mine, let me back up just a second. I always did the passenger approach. I came around this way and came up. So when I came around the corner of my car, you know what I did? Put my hand on the trunk of my car, and then I put my hand on the trunk of their car, almost in the same spots. Because when investigators come to look, they're going to fingerprint the back of this. And my thinking was, if I got a handprint on the suspect car and a handprint on my car, they're both fresh. They're going to connect these two vehicles, even though obviously I called. Everybody knows I'm driving this car, but it's just a physical evidence. They can say, this is the fingerprints from his car, and look, it's exactly the same. They're both fresh. The ridges, they're identical, looking just like this. This was done at the same time. That's the purpose. Get your fingerprints on that car. Let the evidence technicians know, detectives know, you were here with this vehicle, this violator car, your handprints on that car. Number 2 reason, which doesn't get talked about a lot, now we're going to think SWAT and tactical. I've been a part of 2 SWAT teams, and you have to think a little bit more. Sometimes we do things, indirectly, some indirect subtle and some direct subtle messages. So you come up, put a handprint on that car. You're also making sure the trunk lid is secure so nobody can jump out and attack you. Second reason. Third reason, and this is never talked about, you push on that like that, handprint, trunk is secure. You also let somebody know you're there. You don't want to generally sneak and do it. You want to let them know you're there as you're moving, but you're also waiting to see if there's a response. If somebody's in here hiding to try and get you, you want to startle them. Imagine being curled up in a car with a gun, waiting for the police to come to try and attack them. You're laying here, you're holding your breath. You're just like this, you're like, you're nervous, or it's hatred. It's pure nervous or it's hatred. I hate that copper, I want to kill him. And then all of a sudden, somebody jiggled the whole trunk. That just threw you off. They're not going to expect that jiggle, that car to be shaken like that. They're listening for their buddies up here. They're listening for the code word maybe from him to shoot. And all of a sudden now it's shook. So I want a handprint. I want the trunk secure. And I also want to jiggle it to see if I can get a response from somebody. Because if all of a sudden the car, you go like this, you're not shaking the whole car. But if you push on the trunk lid, push down like this, and all of a sudden the whole trunk moves like that, you know somebody's in there. Boy, you're going to be retreating back here real fast, and you're going to talk on your body camera right here that says, I pushed the trunk lid and the trunk's jiggle. Somebody's in the trunk. Somebody's in the trunk as you're running back, and then you key on your radio. Somebody's in the trunk. Send me help. Secure the channel. Send me help. Okay? This is very important. This is why I'm repeating this. Hand fingerprints. Secure the trunk. And test to see if anybody's in there. To alarm them. It's a curious move on your part. Okay, let's move on. Number 6 is you come right up here. I've got my marker off. And that's where most police come. They come up there. Their body's bladed like this. They're like, good afternoon, sir, ma'am. The reason I stopped you is this. You know, we were taught, explain why you stopped them. Try and de-escalate their anxiety in a traffic stop. De-escalate them. When I worked interdiction on the highway, I'd walk up to them, and my purpose was to not, because the courts allow, as long as I had a traffic offense to stop, my real intention is a secondary intention is to look for drugs. Determine is there drugs in that vehicle, or wanted people, or suspended license, anything like that. A crime being committed other than a traffic offense. So I would walk up and I would say, good afternoon, so-and-so. I'm not going to write you a ticket. You were just speeding a little bit, or you were changing lanes without a turn signal. As soon as I say, I'm not going to write you a ticket, you were just, they realize they focus on that. I'm not getting a ticket. That's the most important thing to them. I'm not getting a ticket. Then they got all time, they'll listen to me for 5 minutes if I say there's no ticket. Because you can't say I'm not writing you a ticket and then turn around and write them a ticket for speeding. You've already told them no. And it's on your body camera. That's bad business. Don't say one thing and do another. This is your 6th danger zone. Where do you go from here? You walk up to the car, you're bladed like this. You kind of want to look in, right-handed. My firearm's right here. I'm kind of go to peek in. All of a sudden there's a gun. Drop. Shot avoidance. This is why you have to practice this. See? I'm talking like this. Now I'm down. If I come around the corner and I see a gun and go like this and he pulled the trigger, my face is down here in the safe zone. Face in the safe zone means I got a better chance of going home. Now down in the safe zone, you can't hardly see. Right here, I draw my gun, but look, I'm still below the car window. Say the poster's a car window, I'm below. I can draw my gun and come. I know I can shoot through the door. Close your eyes. If you're shooting the gun as close to your face, you'll powder burn your eyes, then you can't see. You won't be effective anything. Yeah, your hearing's going to go for a little bit. So from right here, you drop, low crawl, duck walk. Get yourself to the back of their car, retreat back to here. Number 6, back here, back down to your car. And you got to move quick. This is why you need to be into the gym. Do a little bit of running, a little bit of sprints, some bike work. While you're at home doing stuff, marching band. In the military, you only come up below the knee. Your knee's about a 45, your leg, 45-degree angle, like this. High school marching is high step, almost parallel, feet to your knee. A little bit higher is training for knee strikes. You need to be practicing as high as you can go, knee strike range, and duck walk. That will help you get from here, crouch down, and get back here faster. Don't let your physical health go out. Don't stop stretching. Don't stop exercising. You don't want to get down and fall and roll over like a turtle upside down. You're stuck. You're going to get killed. Don't do that. You owe it to yourself and your family. Be healthy. Stay alive. That's number 6. Okay, I'm going to put this right here. This is a door. Door opens up. Okay, not saying the door is going to open, but that's just where the doorway is. Here's number 7. We call it the post up position. In the door jamb, the windshield right here, your A pillar, the B pillar is in between the front and the back door. This is if you've already come up to the point where you've talked to them and then you step and slide around the rear view mirror. So now you're turning this way and you're looking at the driver. So my body's bladed, right-handed, my gun's over here so they can't reach out. Remember, you're in arm's reach of them. They can reach out that window and grab you. So you got to use your distance. A lot of officers will come up in this post-up position, number 7, because then they look at the violator, everybody in the car, and from this way they can look at the oncoming traffic. And that's an officer decision. Usually policies on departments aren't specific to say, yes, you have to go up here, or no, you cannot. They say, you position yourself, you approach and position yourself on the violator's vehicle how you deem to be safe. What is necessary to keep you safe. They use wordage like that, so it's a big gray area. That's why you can go around and approach on the passenger side. And it may say to be safe, including a passenger side approach. Your policy should say that. Give you the option on paper, because you don't want to violate policy by doing this. So if your policy does not say including a passenger approach, talk to your patrol commander, talk to your supervisors, see if they can add that one little phrase in. Because what gets police officers sued when they violate the state law, when they violate the suspect's civil rights, and when you violate your policies. So you don't want to violate your department policy by a passenger approach. Say you're up here to number 7. This is the last point. You're in the post-up position. You're talking and you go like this. Well, it's obvious. Shot avoidance, you drop. Drop down low. If you run around the front of the car, which is your best bet, because now you've got the engine block between them. If you're going to go around the front, you got to make it to the other side faster. They can hit drive and run you over. So you got to drop and scoot. That's why you need to exercise. Drop down low, scoot. You drop down out of sight, you may come up right here firing. You don't come up and stand here right in the middle and then shoot at them and then say, Judge, I was in fear for my life. I ducked. I came around to the front of the car. I came up and I shot him. Well, you're putting yourself in danger by stopping here. Now that also is going to put the civilian, he's going to argue if they survive, or anybody in the car, well, the police officer stopped right in front of us and shot straight through the window. Now all of a sudden they're in fear for their life. So you're creating a very complicated mess. If you're going to shoot, it has to be between here and here, but you can't stop. You have to shoot while you're moving. Shoot while you're moving. If you're going to dive over the hood, you're going to be a Chuck Norris action figure. That's your decision. You just have to explain it. Just don't stop. If you're moving, they're more likely to miss. Yes, it's common sense, but no, people don't always stop and think common sense. They think if I'm shooting, I need to hold still and get a good aim. No. When you're at the range, your range officer should teach you point shooting. Like this. Just bring your arm up. Point your finger, your arm. Both eyeballs are open. You're going like this, arm straight. Both beady eyes. Just like this, like a cartoon. Just like this and straight. You should be doing these things from 2 and 3 and 5 yards up close. Get in the habit of this where you're not looking down your front, your sights. Point shooting is your front sights right on it, and that's it. But both eyes are open. So let's go back really quick. Ambush, behind the door jamb. We explained all these options. Corner of the car, in between the car. This is the back corner. Remember, this is very important. Right here, number 5, fingerprints. Secure the trunk. As you're jiggling it to get a response, is somebody going to be in there? Number 6 is your traffic stop position, and this is post up. If you do a passenger approach, same thing. 1, 2 is here. When you come around, this is really number 3, because you're at the corner. That's when you physically expose yourself to them, looking like this. Number 3. From here all the way up into here, this is all number 4. This is your space. Number 5 on the corner, number 6, number 7. You know, this is your spot. Over here, I'm going to turn my body this way. I like to come up this way and look in the car, because then you can see what they're hiding behind their right leg, the leg of the gas pedal, which is also next to your steering column, your gear shift columns. I can look in the dark time when your spotlight's on over here on this mirror and your overheads are on. You can get out and come over here in the dark and be in here looking in their window before they even know you're there. Safety, for me, was always a passenger approach. Even if I had to hop a guardrail in the interstate to get over here, and then, because I exercise, tactically step over that guardrail without falling, put my hand on the guardrail as I did it too for fingerprints. Get up here, and then you're looking number 6 and number 7. Again, 7 danger zones. Traffic stops are very routine, but don't let it be a routine. Make each traffic stop your personal investigation. Explain the details of what you see. Explain, explain, explain. Use your body camera. It's not there to catch you in a bad way. It's there to help you. This is your evidence collection right here. This is like having a secretary and a technician, a whole team with you right here on your body camera. Talk into it. Make good use of it. If you don't need it, it gets erased later. No biggie. Tapes get stored, they get stored. There's a person that does that in the evidence room. You don't worry about that. You put everything you need, every stop, every investigation, every encounter on there. Let them deal with it later because you know it's right there. It's the 7 danger zones, things to consider about as a civilian, weapons, carry concealed things, mace, screwdrivers, a hammer back here, basic tire changing. If you're traveling, I take a hammer, I take screwdrivers and wrenches, just a few basic things in case I need to check the battery or whatever. I take a hammer just because it goes with tools. I'm not going to hammer my car. I'm not going to beat the battery. I don't need to check the tires with a hammer. The tires are inflated or it's flat. I'll see that. But it's a good tool that goes with everything else. Can of mace, things like this back here. What do you have? Anything back here you could throw at them. You don't want to carry bricks. You can carry 1 brick, 1 house brick. That would work. The important thing is you have to think about all this. Think about all this. Again, this Sergeant Beast Larson. Enjoy this. Improving officer civilian survival. This is critical. This is very, very critical. We don't want any more officers. Today is January 1st, 2020. Let's stop this ambushing of our people. Let's stop these assaults on police officers. Let's stop these deaths on traffic stops. Let's stop it. I hope you like this video. Hit the subscribe button, please. Make our numbers go up. Make this community of awareness go up. And share this with people. Share this with your officers, with your friends, your family. This is very important. This is advanced traffic stop. They don't teach stuff like this and go into detail in police academies. You need to know this. Your friends need to know this. Think about this. Make this very important. Let me tell you a story really fast. My wife and I were in Lexington, Kentucky. We're going out to the mall to go shopping. She's driving. I'm a passenger. We come up to a red light, 2-lane road, 2 lanes each way. So we're in the right lane. There's a car over here, pickup truck over here. 2 young males in this old truck. The one gets out, and right away I can see a crazed look on his face. He looked like he was on drugs. And yes, being the police, I'm allowed to say that person looks like they're on drugs. I didn't accuse him of anything. I wasn't charging him. That was my observation. He starts walking back. I pull out my gun, which is a Glock 22, and he starts coming right to the door window and the door right here of my wife. I told her, I said, turn your head to the left, close your eyes, and cover your ears. When he came to this window, my gun was right here in his face, and I said, I'm going to kill you. You know what he did? He turned and ran and jumped back in his truck. They ran a red light, almost got hit and left. I protected her. She turned around and said, why did you say to look to the left and close my eyes and cover my ears? I said, I wanted you to look this way, not towards me, because I was going to shoot. I didn't want powder burns and muzzle flash in your eyeballs. I wanted you to cover your ears so that it wasn't this loud percussioning sound 4 inches away from your ears. I was protecting you. And lastly, I wanted your eyes shut because if I did shoot him, I don't want you to see the impact of a bullet and the blood right in front of your face for the rest of your life. That was me thinking ahead. That was me being prepared. I've thought through scenarios many times. This happened in an instant. Honey, close your eyes, turn your head, cover your ears. Just like that. It was done. He saw me. I ended the threat peacefully just by pointing a gun at him. He retreated. We were gone. Couldn't get the license plate because there wasn't one on the vehicle, just an old red truck. Gone and disappeared. This is back in the days way before they had traffic light cameras, so there was no camera to have any kind of evidence. But I was prepared. I was mentally, emotionally, physically. I was prepared to secure with my Glock 22, and I was prepared how to handle my wife safely to cause the least amount of damage should I have fired to her eyes and ears and her emotional to not witness somebody being shot. Think these things through. Talk this stuff through. She's been with me several years. We've been married, been in the police before we met. So we've had many conversations. This was not the first time I've said something like this. It didn't alarm her. Again, thank you. Hit the subscribe button, like, share. Share this with all of your police friends. Don't forget your exercises, your high steps, your push-ups. You drop down low, you're crawling around your car for your life. Push-ups is a great thing. You need to do push-ups and crunches. Keep all this going to get you ready to go. All right? Keep working out. Thanks for joining.